I think there are sort of experiments and practices that when we allow ourselves to imagine beyond the system that is sort of curbing our imaginations, like we can make real right now. My name is Aisha Shillingford, and I'm the artistic director of Intelligent Mischief. We're a creative studio and cultural futures lab that uses art, storytelling, and experiences to unleash Black imagination to shape the future. Our purpose is to boost invention and imagination and realign action logic and experiment with new forms of culture and civil society to create atmospheres of change. We think of it as bringing people together to collectively imagine futures beyond those that we currently believe are possible. So what it looks like to us is engaging people in world building, creativity, art making, interacting with art that we make, telling stories, and creating immersive experiences that invite people to both design and experience alternatives to their lived realities. We think of it as visionary organizing, so inviting our communities to cultivate bold visions of the future and generate stories of the futures they desire, and then think about how they want to get there together. Well, we've learned that, particularly for collective imagination, it actually leads to increased social cohesion. That when people are able to articulate a vision of something more beautiful together, that it connects them, that it makes it more likely that they will be able to achieve that vision or move towards that future. And then what we've noticed in our work is when we engage folks in immersive imagining, especially, folks express feeling calm, feeling more hopeful, feeling more motivated to make that future real. And then we know that imagination, especially of beautiful, delightful, hopeful things, helps to lower cortisol and generate dopamine and oxytocin, which are those comfort, happy hormones. We've definitely seen that in folks who participate in our imagining experiences. Yeah, I love that question. Actually, futuring is like an exercise that allows you to suspend those barriers for a moment. So I think futuring is really just, at the end of the day, it's really conceptual. It's something that allows you to say, well, maybe those barriers won't be there, so then this other thing can happen. But really, anything that you articulate that you want to happen in the future can happen now. We have a system for our world building, part of which says there are Black people in the future and the future is now. And so when we're doing futuring, it's really about going to that future, ideating inside of that future, because we assume the oppressive systems have sort of gone away. It's easy to assume that if I tell you in 100 years, there will no longer be racism. It's easier to believe that than if I say in 5 years. And so then you allow your mind to sort of imagine a world without racism. But then what we ask people to do is to bring these ideas from that future, bring them back to the present and begin to practice them. So even if you don't have the power to make them systemic, you do have the power to practice them as an individual, to practice them in community. What we expect to happen in 25 years can actually happen in 5 to 10 years. We've actually thought about it and designed it and played with it and teased it out and experimented with it, and also made an effort to become the people who are of that future. We moved the timeline, so to speak. That's also my understanding and experience of the role of futuring, that it's less about designing for the actual people in the future, but it's about using that time space to allow us to imagine more boldly, and then bringing that back to the present and doing what we can to implement elements of it right now. I think if we invited people, for example, to imagine a future where healthcare is available to everyone and it's affordable and it's holistic and centers well-being and prevention, and where corporations don't have power over who gets to be well, and so on and so forth, and it's fully integrated across education and our neighborhoods and so on. Like we could vividly imagine that. And then when I think, about asking folks, well, what would it take to make that real? Someone might say, well, the part of it that I really like that I want to make real is the part where fresh fruit and vegetables are available to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. That might be something you imagine that seems like impossible now, but then you have people who are like, oh, I have a way that I can do that. I can create like a cooperative CSA where like we source fruits and vegetables at a really affordable price, and then I bring it into the neighborhood and we have this little storefront, where folks can use their EBT cards to buy this fresh fruit here that is sourced within like 50-mile radius of the city. It's doable, and that does exist. That's where I get some of my vegetables sometimes. I think there are sort of experiments and practices that when we allow ourselves to imagine beyond the system that is sort of curbing our imaginations, like we can make real right now. I think we see that in some of the experiments, like imagination isn't an elaborate activity. I think it could require putting down our phone for maybe 5 minutes before going to bed and letting ourselves be in our own mind. It could ask us to take a few breaths and to ask ourselves, like, what if we had the power to reshape the stories we hear about ourselves, and to just let your mind wander. Thank you so much.